Let's go.
Hi everybody, it's the Friendly Installer here, and I just wanted to point out a few tips I've learned over my 40 years of installing, and so I'm just going to go over those with you at this time. The first thing that I think is the most important part of your installation is to make sure that you follow the manufacturer's specifications for floor prep. You want to make sure if there's any undulations or crowns in the floor that you smooth these out and it's a nice flat surface. In this particular case, we had a little bit of dirt and mud, and that was transferred in here. We cleaned that all off. Our surface is now contaminant free. We don't have any dirt build up on it. We don't have to worry about the floor having low spots, which would create undulation in the floor or deflection in the joints, and that's what weakens them. So always follow the manufacturer's specifications on that. Another thing that really helps me an awful lot is that I always make what I call scrap tappers. And what these are just a section that's cut from the plank, just like this. I'll cut a section, I'll split it, and that gives me a tongue and a groove to where I can use that to tap against the surface. And I'll demonstrate that here in just a second. But that way I don't beat up the edge here, it fits perfectly, and I'm going to have a nice finished product for the customer when it's installed. So the scrap tappers are an important thing. Something as you're inspecting your luxury vinyl flooring is that you also want to look for these little buggers right here. And these are called hanging chads. And what I've found is that they can create a return trip for me, but I can simply eliminate that return trip by just taking this, and it comes off that easy. If I don't take that off, what happens is that I'm going to have a raised corner. I'll show you that in just a second. But also, if it just falls off onto the installation like that, I can have an uneven surface, and that'll eventually settle in there, and this will cause a bump. It'll telegraph up through, and my customer's going to call me, and I've got to come out and fix it. And it's always in the middle of the floor. It's never near the edges. So save yourself some aggravation, remove those hanging chads. This particular plank right here, I've left the chad on it so that you can see what it looks like when it does go in, and I'm going to demo that as well as how to roll that end joint in as too. But as I go to put this up, you'll see that it stops right here. And so in most cases, you're just going to take and keep jamming that. And what happens when you do that is you'll get up here and you'll have a raised end joint right there. So you want to make sure that that's off of there, because if you don't, that corner is going to be lifting and your customer's not going to be happy. So always get those off. This is what it's going to be. It just went in. See how nice and easy that went together? You you apply pressure, you roll the end joint, you make sure that it's nice and flat. If not, just take your piece, flip it over, tap it just gently a few times, and that'll be enough to snug it up. And then you'll have a great installation. So that's what it looks like, how it's properly done when that chad is removed. The other purpose for the scrap tapper is that when we put these joints together, if we happen to have a little gap like you see here, and sometimes they're really hard to see if it's the right color, you want to take this scrap tapper and you just gently tap it and go along. Now watch here as I tap along that length, and you'll see that close up. And when that closes up, that's like taking and putting a lock washer on a nut and bolt. So snug it up real good, check it afterwards by rubbing it, and you'll have a great installation. Your customer's going to be happy. And that's what it's all about. I'm the Friendly Installer, and it's time for me to get back to work. Thanks for watching.